Women are not what you think. Women are not what you hope. Women are not what the fairy tale, the movies, and the romance stories have brainwashed you into believing. Women are born manipulator, cold-blooded tactician, and emotional assassin. Men are born with love. Women are born with strategy. Men give. Women calculate. Men trust. Women test. Men protect. Women wait and then strike. And when they strike, you will never see it coming. I feel nothing but pity for men who actually believe their woman loves them. These men are sheep being led to the slaughterhouse with a smile on their face. They think they are safe until the knife is in their back. The truth is this: the day you finally accept that women do not have the capacity to love men is the day you will finally be free. The day you stop believing in love and start believing in power is the day you ascend. From the beginning of time, woman's first betrayal was against man. Eve did not hesitate. She had no second thought. She chose selfishness over loyalty. And from that moment on, the game was set. Women have only ever been loyal to one thing: themselves. Even Jesus understood this, which is why he never commanded women to love men, because he knew they couldn't. Instead, he commanded them to submit. He knew their biggest flaw is selfishness. They do not want to give up control. They do not want to bow. They do not want to be LED. And that is why they must be put in their place. Never let a woman inside your mind. Never give a woman your heart. Never believe a woman is different. Never drop your guard, because the moment you believe the lie, you are already lost. The reason for this post is simple. Men do not trust a woman completely. Not your girlfriend, not your wife, not even your mother. No woman is exempt from this truth, because beneath every smile, there is a game. Behind every kindness, there is a plan. And when she strikes, it will be at your most vulnerable moment. She will ruin you when you least expect it. She will betray you when you think you are safe. She will destroy you at the worst possible time. Look at history. Look at how many men have fallen because of a woman. Kings have lost their kingdom. Empires have crumbled. Legends have been erased, and it will happen to you too, unless you wake up. Control her or be destroyed.
Rule her or be erased. Dominate or get left behind. Too many men have learned the hard way. Don't be next.
No love, no trust, no mercy. This is your final warning. The dark code. Commandments. I bow to no woman's path. I refuse to fund degeneracy. I do not fix what I did not break. I judge with fire. I choose with logic. I take what is mine and leave the rest to burn. If this message shook you, good. It means your soul isn't dead yet. If this message offended you, leave now. You are already lost. But if this message awakened you, if you feel the fire rising in your veins, the hunger to reclaim your power, the clarity to see through the deception, then you have one mission. Spread the dark code. Your brothers are asleep. Wake them up. Share this message. Burn the lies to the ground. Let the world know you see through the illusion. This is Brave Minds. The revolution has begun. Are you in or are you brave? Stay Putin.
Welcome back. This is Nava, and y'all, I want to talk about this red pill thing again, because although men are getting out of it, there are still men who are getting into it, and women are still coming online and sharing their stories about how they are divorcing their red pill husbands and boyfriends. And there are even men coming online saying how they escaped it and what woke them up and how they got into it and telling their stories. There are men trying to get their brothers out, their friends out. They're realizing that is a cult, and they see that the divorce rates are rising higher and higher, and this has part to do with it. And also, people like Scott Galloway. I just shared his video. A lot of women don't think that Scott Galloway is red pill, but he is. And Jordan Peterson, they are also red pill, because at the root of everything that they say, they always circle back to putting the way that men are acting onto women. So that makes them ultimately red pill. So let's get into these videos of men talking about red pill. I just showed y'all that video of that old man. I don't even think that's a real man. I think he's AI, but he's red pill. Everything that he's saying is red pill. And if you notice, every man that talks like this, if he doesn't have a lot of money, he is single. Like, the only way you could talk shit like this about women and possibly have women still is if you got money. You know, women, a lot of women are out here willing to put up with these men if they have money. You know, I don't know why, but there are women willing to put up with a lot of stuff if a man has money, but there are a lot of women apparently who are not, because I'm sure that these 70% of women who are divorcing their husbands, I'm pretty sure that all of these men weren't just broke. It's not always about, with most women, it's not always about money. It's about men being able to communicate, men being able to listen, men able to show affection, to help them around the house. And that the stats are showing these are the reasons why women are getting divorced. And you know, the number one divorce reason is infidelity and financial reasons. So, you know, even though what this man is saying, I'm not saying that there are not no women who act like this. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying the majority of women are not like what Red Pill is saying. The majority are not. So that is the reason why women are divorcing and breaking up with their boyfriends. And that is the reason why men are getting out of red pill, because they see that the majority of women are not out here acting like this. They haven't ran into these women. They are just talking about these women that they haven't even had to deal with. So the men that got logical common sense, they're looking at it and they're like, yeah, like, how are all of these women gold diggers when most men don't even finish high school and most men don't even have money? So, you know, and even if they are gold diggers, like, men that have money don't even care about spending money on women. They're like, I got the money because I wanted to get women and I want to share my money with women, beautiful women, women I like. I want to share my money. Like, I've made videos about that, how women should not be with selfish men. And like, most of these men are not giving women what they need emotionally in these relationships. So they better have money or something to compensate for it. Like, smart men know that. Like, if I have nothing else, no personality, my sex is not good, like, I have nothing else to offer her, like, why would she just be with me for nothing? Like, these men are with women for their services around the house, for their sex, for their conversation. What is so wrong with a woman wanting a man that has money? Like, we live in a world where you need money to survive. And like, why would you want to sit up and look at somebody who is just struggling and can't help you? Like, who would choose that for themselves? Especially when most men can't give women what they need in other ways. So anyway, I'm rambling on. Let's get into these videos and I will talk to you ladies later. Bye.
Real cool guy, you want people to like you, don't be a douche, don't be a scumbag, right? Be a good-hearted man who has a backbone, who has standards, and you can still do that while having self-respect, right? While having strong game, knowing how to flirt, knowing how to be fun, knowing how to be bold and assertive, right? Like, you can be all those things without putting on this arrogant, fake bravado, jerk, bad boy player persona that's not true to who you are. People, they want someone that's real. Don't be a faker, bro. This fake alpha bullshit, man, it's gone too far. I'm tired of it, especially because I know that the guys that are subscribing to that are attracting a lower quality of women that's going to continue to keep them in this circle of feeling negative, right? Like, you want to be a positive, confident guy who attracts positive, confident women.
This red pill nonsense is getting so bad to the point where other men are hating on other men because they love their wives and their girlfriends. The amount of comments I get from men being angry at other men for posting their girlfriends or saying that I cook for my girlfriend or I make her happy is crazy. Like, they are literally going to be completely and utterly alone and blame everyone else but themselves for it. They're hateful towards the women in their life and women online, and they're also hateful towards men that aren't hateful towards women. And then when they end up shooting themselves in the back of the head by the time they're 35, the male loneliness epidemic is going to be blamed on women. Like, y'all are just miserable. Not even other men can help you. Oh my God, like, red pill men, that's like a whole nother category of men, and I need them to just, like, stop.
The most dangerous thing you can do in life is to absorb other people's experiences, adopt it as your own. And this is something that a lot of people do nowadays, especially men. Let's talk about it. The main inspiration for this video is that I came across a video of a young man talking about how he escaped the red pill. And the reason that this is such an appealing idea to a lot of young men is simply because when you have someone who validates your experiences, who says, you know, like the reason that you feel stuck in life, or the reason that you're upset, or the reason that you're depressed is because, you know, women's standards are too high, and if only you had access to women, your life would be so much better. As a young man who has no experience with women, why wouldn't you accept this as your truth? Because it's easy to. But the issue with this is that what happens is a lot of these young men don't have many experiences in general with women, or in life in general. And what they do is they adopt the pain that these men are talking about. They adopt it as their own experiences. That's why you have so many guys that are going to be spewing the same rhetoric. They literally like say the same couple lines, like verbatim. And it's not because they've all shared the same experiences, it's because they're all sharing the same rhetoric. What young men do is they absorb the opinions and the realities of older men that they look up to, that they aspire to be like. They take it as the truth. If you speak to an older man who said, I've dated women for the last 20 years, they've just all fucked me over, they've all cheated on me, X, Y, Z. A lot of young guys, instead of going out there to have their own experiences, which, you know, include you having to be brave, include you having to face rejection, they'd rather just absorb this person's reality as their own, because it absolves them of having the responsibility to go out there and actually have their own experiences. But I think one of the most valuable parts of life is creating your own life by having your own experiences, and instead of absorbing other people's pain, other people's trauma, accepting it as your reality, to go out there and create your own life, to create your own memories, to have your own experiences, create your own idea of people and what's out there. So if you are a young guy who maybe has fallen down this rabbit hole, I want you to understand that there's a lot more life out there to live. The things that you see online, you should really take them with a massive pinch of salt, because a lot of it is bullshit.
If you guys keep listening to the red pill community and this bullshit manosphere, you will never get women. They are making you bitter towards women, hateful, disrespectful towards women. How do you expect to get any women if you preach hate towards women? Understanding female nature is one thing, fellas. I agree. You have to understand the psychology of female nature. But if you don't have the game to back that up with experiences, with knowledge that you know when it comes to women, with your failures, your successes, that red pill, the female nature bullshit, it ain't gonna mean nothing, okay? You're not gonna be able to use that to your advantage. If you combine the game with female nature, that is powerful. That's how you get women, fellas. But you guys are doing it ass backwards. You want to learn about the red pill and the bullshit that they're preaching about female nature. It's a bunch of incels that hate women. That's all it is. They're teaching you guys to be fearful of women, to not get in relationships, to not date women, to not approach women. Oh, just focus on you, men going their own ways. This is how I know these guys get no women, because you don't understand the superpowers that certain high quality women have. You don't understand the value that they can add to your life. A good woman can influence a man without the need to be forceful. That is why high quality women are such a rare gem and commodity. But you have to learn how to attract those types of women. Not the women you see on the Fresh and Fit podcast or the whatever podcast or just pearly things. Those women are straight up basura. That's what they are. I don't mess with women like that. It gains mass views. That's why they have these women on these shows. But you don't learn shit about game or how to pick up women, how to approach women, how to date beautiful women, how to keep them in their feminine state, how to keep them loving you at all times. They don't teach you this shit, fellas. They teach you about the red pill because they know it gains mass followers. That's why. And you're being exploited by them, disrespecting these women live on these podcasts, and you guys are falling for it. You guys are falling for it. They're all snakes in disguise. I want nothing to do with them. I don't even listen to that red pill bullshit anymore, fellas. I'm doing my own thing. I understand female nature. I understand the psychology of women. I have my own game that I learned with over 17 years of experience before any of this shit was even popular. But when you combine that game that you have with female nature and the psychology of women, you can never lose with women, fellas. That's why we're teaching you the real game. All those other podcasts with these bullshit hosts, they don't have game, fellas. They never got girls until they got a little bit of fame and status. That's not a ladies' man. That is a trick. That's what that is. I never needed fame and status to get any women. I understand the game and what women are attracted to. If you guys want to change your life and actually wake up next to beautiful women, start dating beautiful women and keeping them in a healthy relationship, listen to our podcast on Spotify. The link is in our link tree. It's called The Full Armor of Game with the Texting Prince. We break down the full game for you guys and we teach you the real game. Without hating women, without bashing women, without being disrespectful towards women. I'll agree there's a lot of low quality women out there. But once again, why are you dealing with those low quality women? I'm not inviting negative toxic energy within my life. I don't want that around my energy because I protect what's sacred to me. That is my spiritual energy. I'm only having positive, high quality women within my presence. If you don't want to learn how to attract those women, don't get my attraction course. Don't get my relationship course either. That ain't for you, bro. Go keep listening to these red pill podcasters and let me know how that works out for you. If I hate cats and I keep preaching about how dangerous cats are and that I should stay away from cats, I'm not going to get any cats, fellas. But if I love women and I'm preaching to you what a beautiful woman can bring to your life, obviously you are going to get women. I'm going to get women. That's what we are teaching here, fellas.
Okay, so I really want to make this video, and it's honestly super controversial. I think like a lot of men have had this same thought, but they don't want to talk about it because it's like, oh, if I talk about that, like every girl I know or the woman I'm with is going to get upset, or I'm never going to be able to date a girl again or whatever. But for me, I'm just like, okay, this is so true. Like I have to talk about it.
Does anyone else feel misogynistic but coming on? Even though there's something in the back of this guy's mind that's saying, you know what, something doesn't feel right about what I'm going to say. Something feels a little bit off, a little fucked up. But he's just going to say it anyways.
But I'm like 27, I go to church, and I've started looking for a spouse. And it's just like you go in society today, and like the girls that I've met are just like, they're not like real women. Like they're not, I meet so many girls where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, make myself super attractive, and I'm only going to date him if he's like good looking and wealthy. Like I live in Tampa, Florida, and there's just like this normalized culture here of just like gold diggers.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, pick one or the other. Is it a girl or woman? Woman? Pick one. But right there, just referring to women as girls, you give yourself away a little bit. So changes are happening, women, because this guy's noticing it. He says women are just looking for a man who is good looking and wealthy. And what's wrong with wanting a man who has his stuff together financially? We're called gold diggers, ladies, because broke men like this can't get the women he wants. So he needs to shame women who are looking for men who really have their stuff together, who are at the top of the list as people they want to marry the most, instead of this guy. Typical misogynist, when deep down inside he really wants certain women to like him, but he's seeing that women are going for somebody else. So he'll call them all kinds of names and words. You can only imagine what kinds of names and words he'll call you behind closed doors. He also likes to guilt and shame women for taking care of their physical health and not running around like wild animals like men do, thirsting after the opposite sex to become a wife and a slave house servant. Duh. Of course we're not doing that. They haven't brainwashed us to do the same back, and they're losing their grip on the women around them. The fairy tale, the fantasy that they fed us of romance, to trade in our life to be a house servant, is falling.
Like they're literally just dating guys for, they're thinking, oh, he just cares about sex, so I'm just going to care about his looks and if he's wealthy or not, and we're just going to agree on this. Like that's what's going on, and I'm just like, where are like the real women? Like where's the girl? Like, you know, girls just aren't the way they used to be. They're not like how girls were in like the 1800s and like early 1900s, where it's like a real woman. Like she grows up, she really wants to get married, she really wants to have kids, like She, you know, her favorite thing, like she loves to cook, she loves to clean, like she wants to get married and have kids so much, she like dreams about it. Like girls, I feel like girls aren't allowed to be like that in today's world. Instead, it's like, I feel like society like forces them to be these like workers.
The last part where he says that society is forcing us to work. How about society forced us to not have rights and forced us to give away our slave labor in the home because we had no other choice? This guy's next life is going to be a woman for sure. I'm almost sure of it. Because he does not get it. He does not understand that no, women don't want to clean houses for the rest of their life. Some of us don't even like cooking. Sure, some of us may want to have children, but that doesn't mean we want to be a caretaker for the rest of our lives. Do you understand we're people? We have musical talents, artistic abilities, we're smart, we're educated, we're a part of society. We're not just a slave housemaid. And then he brings it back to the 1800s. Has this guy taken a history class? Does he not realize that women had to get married? That your grandmother had no other choice but to get married because the patriarchy set it up that way? It's be homeless or be married and have babies. Never mind the fact that he keeps degrading women and calling them not real women because we don't want to go along with something that makes no sense at all. It makes no sense. They want you to stay delusional. Don't worry about money. The guy will take care of you. Ish. He won't run out on your family. He's not going to leave you. You'll be fine. You just find another man who will abuse you the way that I did. They want you trapped in the home so that they can do whatever they want, so that they have all of the power. And women are waking up to that. And he's noticing, hey, some stuff's changing. Women are waking up. Women actually demand, I don't know, not to be a slave their entire life. To find a man who actually has money to pay for children before she even sleeps with him. Now, some men know the game. But this guy is brainwashed. He thinks that women actually enjoy this. Like, his grandmothers actually enjoyed that. No, we couldn't say anything because there were constantly men around us. There was always going to be some kind of backlash. And the only reason why we're talking now is because we can. I'm sure as hell not going to have a man in my house for the rest of my life, so I'm going to be very loud. I'm not afraid to speak. Your grandmother couldn't speak. Your mom probably still lives with your dad. They told you women like this. This is what we love. They tried to brainwash us, and we're unbrainwashing the women here. And you're noticing the changes happening all around you. Because no, women didn't get a fair deal. We're much more than a house servant and a baby maker. We're human beings. Good luck finding real women, because they're waking up in droves. And we're definitely running away from men like you.
Stop watching red pill content. Now, fellas, red pill content is perfect if you want to self-improve, you want to better yourself as a man, you want to get your money right, you want to get your mindset right, you want to get your fitness right, you look smaxing, you doing everything that you know how to be, and you learning the information to become the best man that you can be. But when it comes to dating, tread it with a thin line and tread it with a developed mind. Don't allow yourself to take on all the characteristics and all the beliefs and all the ideas that a lot of the red pill ideology teaches guys like you, because you will up your relationship if you come across a halfway decent lady. This is something that I did in my early 20s, a couple years ago. Met a wonderful woman. She cooked, clean, did everything that a man would want a woman to do. Was amazing. Everything that a man would want from a woman. But when you listening to that red pill ideology when it comes in the terms of dating, you will start to think that women is this way, and as a man, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. When the reality is, a lot of red pill dating coaches, a lot of red pill ideologies is teaching you how to operate and how to date shit women or shitty women. But once you come across a halfway decent lady or a halfway good lady or a good lady that's for you, you don't have to force anything. You don't need to know dating tricks or do this or say this or act this way in order for her to do this. Once a woman genuinely likes you and you come across a woman that's compatible with you and you meet a woman who has all the characteristics that you like within a man and y'all mesh together, flows in harmony. It's easy. It's easy for you to be with her. It's easy for you to deal with her. Yes, women have their issues. Women got their emotions and things of that nature. But never allow yourself to find a decent lady and
it up because you stuck under that real pill ideology. Yes, always keep improving. Yes, always be the best version of yourself. Yes, always become better. Yes, always focus on improving and being the best man that you can be and never fall off. But don't you ever allow that red pill dating shit to correlate with good women. Shitty women, yes. But good women, that shit don't work and apply when it come to them.
Biggest problem with the red pill is that it turns you into a petty, transactional, and scorekeeping man who's way too uptight to build a real emotional connection with a woman. You're never going to be able to build something real, something valuable, something emotional with a woman if you are constantly on the defensive and you approach dating and women with an us versus them frame. A relationship is fundamentally about creating an us frame, not a me versus her frame. And if you're constantly battling confrontational back and forth and you always think that in order for you to win, she has to lose or be beneath you, you're never going to build a real emotional connection and you're never going to build a healthy relationship. If you want help building a real healthy relationship, DM me free course on IG for more.
So my hot take is, if you claim to be a man of God, but you still listen to podcasts like Fresh and Fit, I'd really reevaluate that. So podcasts like that are promoting a corrupt version of masculinity that enslaves men in lust, arrogance, and materialism. They promote lust and sexual immorality, preach pride and arrogance instead of humility, push a worldly, materialistic lifestyle. They teach manipulation and red pill bitterness. A real man of God builds his life on truth, purity, and wisdom. Stop listening to that garbage.
I wanted to respond to this comment on another video because I've been able to successfully pull my little brother out of that little red pill pipeline. Now I will say this, maybe I have a little bit of extra pull for trying to drag little boys out of the red pill pipeline, because being a toxic king, I was very red pill adjacent and pretty big in that space. But one day I go visit my mom's house and I see him sitting down watching TV. It's a YouTube video and it's one of those little gold digger pranks, right? Where a dude pretends to be broke and talks to a girl, she rejects him, and then he gets out of a Porsche. She's like, oh my God, I want to take a ride with you. And it's like, oh, I see all women are gold diggers. So I sat down and asked him, how many women do you think are gold diggers? And he said, man, probably like 70% of them, but there's like 30% that are good. So I asked him, why do you think that? He didn't have an answer. And when they don't have an answer, that's where you pound. That's when you gotta point out the contradictions and drag them back to reality. I said, little brother, how old are you? 18. In your 18 years of life, how many women have you dated? 0. In your 18 years of life, how many jobs have you had? 0. How much money have you earned working that job that you never had? Nothing. So with no experience with women, no experience with working job, and no experience in having money, that was the one, so now hit him with that 2, knock his ass out. The men you see talking about this stuff, like I do with my videos, right? They make money from you watching and believing what they're saying. The reason you're watching this video, the reason it has a lot of views, is because it's playing on this stereotype and it's trying to push that idea into your head. Something that you have 0 experience with. Something that none of the men in your life who have fucking wives or girlfriends ever fucking say. The men that you look up to, the men that you respect, do not say or do any of this shit. Well, besides me, it's the toxic king. And that's where he stepped back and realized, like, oh shit. Ever since then, he's been extremely critical of media. He comes up to me now. I'm so fucking proud, because he said he put all that shit down, because once he started to think about it, it all sounded dumb. I think what we have to teach these boys is that the dudes who are saying this are the losers and are making them into losers. It's making them unlikable, and it will only ruin their life. And it's not hard to spot because it's full of contradictions. All you need to do, pull on that one thread and it all unravels. I'm lucky that I got him young enough and that he's impressionable enough when it comes to me that he instantly listened. I don't know if it's possible for women to break through that, but us men, especially the men who have the respect of the youth, need to stand the fuck up and say something. It is possible. We can save these young boys.
Someone who's fallen into it and grown out of it, let's debunk red pill rhetoric. And yes, per usual, I have notes. She's not yours, it's just your turn. It's a common one amongst men who have gotten played in some capacity or have been cheated on. While yes, people are not possessions, I learned in therapy that people are experiences, but she chose you for a reason, family. It being your turn means you won. She likes the way you treat her, she likes the way you talk to her, she likes the way you handle her. Just be in the experience. It's really that simple. Here's another one. Women are materialistic gold diggers. Some. Emphasis on some.
However, on the flip side, there are women who require, demand, and deserve death. Money is not the most important thing in a relationship, and I don't know when and where we got as a society to where that has been the standard, because it's not true. I've also noticed that red pill is pro-hedonism. I'm gonna be so real with y'all. There's not a single universe where juggling multiple women, being in sexual relationships with multiple women, hookup culture, whatever y'all want to call it, is better than being loyal and sticking to one woman. That's propaganda I will never fall for. I don't care who is talking about it. That's just a man's way of telling you that he's trying to fill an insatiable void within himself through women, and it's really self-inflicted torture, if we're being honest. It's typically why you see some men lashing out women or developing a hate for women, because of that void and that wound that they're unable or unwilling to address. There's also great emphasis on just focusing on money for whatever reason, which again, is not the most important thing in the world. But in the context of women, after we get the money, then what? You still have to learn how to talk to women. You still have to have social skills and confidence within yourself. That all starts with internal work, therapy, meditation, a balanced diet, dating with integrity, honesty, and intent. Work starts in here so that your reality can reflect positively out there. And yes, everyone's favorite, she has to be submissive. This goes for anybody, but y'all do realize that people would be more inclined to do what you ask and to show up the way you would like if you relinquish control. That's how energy works. Women are no different. And if we're being real, a submissive woman dominates the man. But that's a conversation y'all not ready for.
Lost their male partners to red pill content, because I want to know what happened.
Yeah, I'm right here. I lost one of the loves of my life. One of my best friends, had known him over 20 years, since before we were born, to red pill content, and I want to talk about it today. I do think it's important to educate people and keep them aware of this. Well, it was like a 5-10 year long process to strap in, and I think one of the hardest parts wasn't accepting losing him, but having to accept that, like, this person, these ideologies were inside him the whole time. So his name was Jared. We grew up on streets near each other, and our families knew each other before we were born because we were all homeschooled. So obviously when we were little, I had a big old crush on him because he was the only boy my age I had ever spoken to, but he had no interest in me because he was a little kid. So for a lot of the middle years, he goes back into school. We don't talk. He's in the grade above me. But once we get into high school, we actually reconnect somehow, and I forget how, but I'm a total nerd in high school, and he is like a hockey jock. But he was always a really sweet kid. So for a while, I believed him when he swore his hockey friends must have stolen his phone in the locker room and sent this message to me on Snapchat that said, "Why don't you make yourself useful and send over a pic?" And when I was like, this is really random, like, this doesn't seem like even your verbiage, what's going on, dude? They blocked me on everything on his phone. So we didn't talk for several years after that, and I found it a little bit weird that, like, dude, we were talking every single day, and you didn't even think to look me up and notice I wasn't even in your phone anymore? But anyways,
Where are all the women who lost their male partners to red pill content?
Ooh, baby, do I have a story for you. Now, excuse my bonnet. I'm working from home today, okay? But I started experiencing this right when this red pill content started to kick off. Now, at the time, I was this happened when I was probably about 24, 25. I was dating this white guy who I had been with for a while before this had started happening. We were probably on year 4 or 5 of being together when he started watching content like this. Now, to preface this story, we had been together for 3 years, and he wanted to get married. And I told him, well, I really want to meet your family and get to know them first before we decide to do that. So we ended up moving to Ohio. And also he really didn't like living in Colorado at the time. So I figured this would just be a good opportunity for us to get a fresh start, and for me to meet his family, and for us to start making plans towards marriage. Now, at first everything was okay, but it started becoming a problem in the relationship when he wouldn't like get his affairs in order so that we could move forward in our relationship. And one of the goals that I wanted to achieve was us buying a house out in Ohio. Now, if you know anything about Ohio, one of the things that I really liked about it is that the housing market at that time was ripe for the picking, y'all. Like, you could get a 3-bedroom house with a finished basement for like 70, 80K at that time. And I recognized this because, Colorado 2017, 2018, the housing market was getting terrible. And so I moved to this place. I can, get a house for a decent price. I really wanted to hop on that, but he just would not get his affairs in order so that we could do that together. I was also doing a lot for his mom, taking her to doctor's appointments. He also sprung like 3 dogs on me. So at this time, I'm taking care of him, taking care of his mom, and 3 dogs all by myself. And it was just getting out of control. So at the very tail end of our relationship, he started watching a lot of Ben Shapiro videos, which Ben Shapiro, I have no problems with him. There are some views that I feel like are just too far right for me. And then there are other videos that I do actually agree with him a lot on. But the thing that scared me the most was when he started watching this black man on YouTube who was so negative and mean-spirited towards black women. Baby, I mean, calling us hair hats, saying we're the worst rearers of children, just all around, just negative. Most of his content were geared towards how terrible he feels black women are. Now, he wasn't nice towards most women, but black women, that was his main, like, it was like rage baiting. That was like the start of when rage baiting really became a thing. And I don't really remember what the YouTuber's name was, but he was this black man, and he would always call black women like hair hats and stuff like that. So if you remember that man on YouTube, I think he ended up getting demonetized and moving to Patreon. But my white boyfriend is watching this content constantly, all the time, every day, just constantly just feeding his mind with this. And it was weird to me because when we first started dating, he would tell me like black women are his preference. That's what he goes for. He does not date any other race of women. Like black women are his preference. And so it was just weird to me that, okay, black women are your preference, but you're sitting here listening to this man spew all this rage and hate towards black women. You would think that you wouldn't be his target audience. But what really scared me, or what really made me decide to leave the relationship, was one, I ended up finding out that his family, not his mom or immediate family, but his like aunts and uncles, they're the boomer generation. And I ended up finding out they were very, very racist. And he's now starting to project the stuff that he's watching on YouTube into our relationship. And y'all, I'm scared. Like, I'm getting scared because I've never experienced racism, especially in a relationship. I've never experienced that in my life. I live in Colorado, okay? They're very progressive out here. So the fact that I'm going through this in my relationship, y'all, I'm starting to get scared. I'm 1,200 miles away from my family. I'm taking care of everybody on my own. I'm starting to panic at this point. But I eventually did decide to go ahead and leave the relationship. Shout out to my homegirl, Kate, and her family, because without them letting me come stay with them for a couple of weeks, I probably would not have been able to get back home to Colorado. So shout out to Kate and her family, because they really saved me, and they let me save every day for 2 weeks straight. Her mom didn't charge me no rent. And they let me stay in their basement. They had a bed and everything. It was a nice situation. And I worked 16-hour days every day for 2 weeks and got the hell up out of there, y'all. And he did eventually hit me up later on, apologizing for everything he was doing, not helping me support our household and helping me support the family, and, doing what he needed to do as a grown man, and then also spewing all that craziness towards me. He did apologize later and try to get back in my good graces. But baby, I will never deal with anything like that. If you don't 100% love women or love black women, baby, I'm gone. And yeah, that was probably one of the scariest breakups I ever had, because I'd never experienced nothing like that before. And I really think that like 2017, 2018, 2019, that was really the start of all this red pill, rage bait content towards women. I saw it with my own eyes spew into my relationship and break us up, y'all. It was crazy.
You inexperienced red pill kids and you 40-something-year-old bitter rejects need to understand something. Your masculinity isn't the issue. The reason you're alone is because you're unsafe, you're judgmental, you can't communicate, and you're not fun to be around. But you are capable of change. Learn to be a good human, or evolution is going to weed you out of the gene.
Red pill men also have an obsession with looks and youth. So if you're always hearing men talk about a woman's looks or you're too old, kind of like the whole hitting the wall thing, they're red pill. It is what it is.
They get even creepier with it. They'll be like,
They
women are
are.
the most fertile when they're
Yeah,
13.
yeah. It's
What the
like
fuck?
red, but would be some of them, not all of them, but
Right.
would be ready to kill if some grown man was talking that about their 12-year-old daughter. Like, what about your 12-year-old daughter? Are you, you know what I mean? But it's okay for you to subject somebody else's daughter, but you don't want. And don't get me wrong, I know there's plenty of men who don't care about their daughters at all. I know
Right.
plenty of them.
At best, like a lot of these men, especially the red pill men, are territorial. They're not protective. They're just territorial. They're like, that's my daughter. Like, you're not going to say that about her. But yeah, like you said,
that's
they
it.
say it about
That's
other
exactly it.
13-year-olds. It's like, you're still predatory. And you're just a territorial predator. So
literally.
How to know if the guy you are dating, talking to, or even married to is red pill. Now, if you don't know what a red pilled man is, it's basically a man who hates women. So the first thing you need to look at is, does he follow this account? Okay? This account that goes by the name of Hoodville is probably the most toxic account to ever exist. It basically takes all these like funny memes and posts and it sprinkles so much misogyny into it, so much hatred for women into it. First of all, go see if your man follows that account, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing you want to do is see what posts he's liking. Sometimes people can just think it's a meme page. This is actually like a very hateful page. So even if he follows it, it's like a red flag. But see what posts he's liking because that's very telling. Next step. Go through his TikTok repost. Go through his Instagram and TikTok repost, okay? A lot of times, guys aren't slick with it. They'll just go ahead and like repost toxic shit because they think it's funny and they want their friends to see it. So going through his repost, if he's reposting like crazy shit about women or like toxic things or like cheating on your girl or just demeaning things in general, he needs to go. Another telltale sign is if you're having a conversation and he starts bringing up these females or says anything regarding like females referring to women. Another sign is if he brings up the fact that women cheat more than men and starts getting into that and like arguing that that's always happening, which just is not true. Another thing you need to do is look through his TikTok For You page and his Insta For You page, okay? So like say you're hanging out, you're chilling in bed and he just has his phone open. Look at his For You page. Look at the type of content that's being promoted to him. Because it's so obvious when men are liking like toxic shit, that shit is just always on their page. Like you can clearly tell if a man is toxic off his For You page. And some people would try to make the argument that, oh, men just get promoted toxic things, which is true. But if they're not actively engaging with them, it's not always gonna be on their page. Like I was talking to this one guy one time and literally his For You page was all just like half naked women, just like super like degrading shit and like toxic shit. And I was like, what the fuck? And his excuse was, oh no, this is just like what gets promoted to men. No, because the next guy I was talking to, his For You page did not look like that at all. Another warning sign to look out for, and this isn't always a warning sign, right? But if your man or the guy you're talking to is super into fitness, okay? Sometimes men can be into fitness in like a positive way, right? They just want to improve themselves. But some guys, they become into fitness, they go down this scary fitness pipeline that takes them to red pill. So if he's following a bunch of these fitness influencers, start looking at the fitness influencers he follows. Because there are some fitness influencers who are very misogynistic. Like, I don't want to name drop, but if you know, there's some fitness influencer men who will like basically just parade women through their content to make themselves look better and are just like very misogynistic and make really misogynistic jokes. Look out for that. Those are my top ones. Follow for more content and let me know if you want a part 2. Bye guys, love you.
Early warning sign of a socially uncalibrated red pill dude. Sometimes my women friends will tell me about the guys they are dating, and one of the common themes that I see come up is, within the first week of talking to someone, if the guy finds out that the woman has guy friends, the guy will absolutely lose it and go off on a tangent about how modern women are terrible and how men and women can't be friends. He wants a traditional woman who's going to be submissive, and what this guy has done is tell on himself in this scenario. He's telling on himself that he doesn't have any emotional self-control and he doesn't have social calibration. In the beginning of a dating dynamic, that is not the time to be ranting and raving about a woman's guy friends. That's a conversation to maybe be had once you're boyfriend or girlfriend. But in the beginning, that is not the time for that.
How do I suss out men who subscribe to red pill ideology when dating? As I consider throwing myself into the dating pool again, what are some signs I can look out for to make sure I'm not talking to a RP disciple? They love to talk about women hitting a wall, that only women 30 and under are decent, that a woman has to look a certain way, even though if they got a big belly and look like a troll, they demand that you be like physical perfection, like an 11 on the scale of 1 to 10. Because that's what they imagine that they deserve. What I care about is how he talks to me, treats me, and thinks about women as a whole. Anything negative, any derogatory nonsense, any kind of put downs, anything like that that is designed to try to categorize or make somebody feel bad for being female, that motherfucker's bounced out of my life so fast I can't even tell you. He probably gets skid marks from the bounce.
You gotta listen to those red pill guys. Stop. Enough is enough. We get it. Female nature, hypergamy. Thank you. We know now. Self-improvement, get in the gym. Make sure you're reading. Make sure you stand on your purpose. Good. We're doing that. But what's after that? What's after that? It's the spiritual aspect. These people are not leading y'all and steering y'all to God. Because all it's doing is spewing up more hate, more rage, more anger. And all it's doing is making you hate women. Am I here to tell y'all that, oh, women are angels? Heck no. I know it's wicked out here. I see it every dang day. Every day. But what I am telling y'all is, do not let nobody put their trauma on y'all. Do not let nobody feed off of your hate, because you're getting away from the very thing that you wanted as a child when you were an innocent, pure soul. You went through trauma. You went through things to get you away from that, and you lost sight of it. And they're not helping you get back to that. This is why you focus on God. You don't focus on the red pill. You don't focus on the red pill creator. You focus on God. Because what God is going to do with your free will is heal you, right? He's going to give you God-given wisdom. Wisdom that I can't give y'all. Red pill guys can't give y'all. Things that you're going to learn about yourself. Yeah, I allow God to speak through me, but I am not God himself. I'm not. So you got to focus on that relationship with God. So you know where you need to be, when you need to be, you know? Like I say, bro, do not let these people program y'all. Is this person speaking from a place of hate? Is this person speaking from a place of resentment, trauma? Or is this person speaking from a place of love? God is love. When you start to work on yourself spiritually, you no longer have to lean on your own understanding or another fool or understanding that's steering you in the wrong direction. You wake up, you become more conscious. You get this thing called discernment, spiritual discernment. You can see clear as day. So you don't have to guess if a woman is playing games. Oh, I don't know if she's playing or not. Your spirit gonna let you know. God gonna tell you. Your eyes, you gonna see. You gonna see in the first 5-10 seconds of talking to people. That's why you gotta focus on God. You gotta desexualize your brain. You gotta cut the addictions. Focus on God. Get off the websites. Get off the internet. Go outside. Touch some grass. Sit with yourself. And be with yourself. And ask yourself, why am I the way that I am? Why do I do this? Where did this start? Why am I still hurt? And once you start to ask yourself these questions and put in the work to heal these very things, you'll begin to peel back layer and layer and layer. But we're not strong enough to do it by ourselves. You need God. You need Jesus Christ. You need him. I'm one of them people that I was one of the people that used to be like, man, I don't know about this God stuff, man. I could do it on my own. I could do it by myself. And what that lead to? Me being blind and steering people in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? That's all it did. That's all it did. Whenever I got right with God, That's when I woke up, and it pulled me out of that darkness that I was in. And I'm like, man, now I get it. Now I'm up. Now I'm blessed with this wisdom that I never thought I have. Wisdom that you think you smart until God start blessing you with wisdom. You think you smart. You think these guys that's telling you to, and that's another thing. All these manipulation tactics that they teaching y'all, it's witchcraft. It's witchcraft, bro. That is demonic stuff that they teaching y'all. It's demons attached onto these people giving y'all demonic advice. That is not God's will. It's not, bro. Unplug. Get in tune with yourself and focus on God. Think about it. When was the last time you prayed? When was the last time you asked God for wisdom? When was the last time you asked God for discernment? But y'all can watch these red pill creators every day spewing up this hate. Spewing up. Get off of TikTok. Get off of Instagram. Get in tune with yourself. Focus on God. And like I say, you'll see clearly. You'll see clearly. But I just had to come on here tell y'all that, man, wake up. We got some growing we got to do. I know y'all still want that wife. I know y'all do. And I know we all see the BS out here. We see it, but that don't mean that you can't have a wife, bro. Because like I say, what's meant to be is meant to be, and it's going to happen on God's timing. You just got to focus on God. I learned it. I woke up. I say, yeah, I done unplugged from the matrix. My consciousness level and rose. I say, yeah, I get it now. I get it. Hey, charge up. Hey, look, focus on God. I'm trying to tell y'all. Now I'm back to what I wanted when I was a very kid. When I was a kid, I wanted to be the best dad the world has ever seen. But I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without God, because you don't become a man until you become a man of God. This is facts. This is facts, bro. Like, take it from me. Walking testimony. And I'm just here to shine light and give y'all hope so y'all can see, like, you know what? It is hope. I seen that guy. I seen what he used to be. And now I see where he's at now. This God guy he's talking about gotta be real. It's called being a walking testimony. Am I making sense? And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spread the word and I'm gonna walk it. I'm gonna talk it and I'm gonna walk it. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, I want a wife now. I want a family. I see these things. I see families out and I just smile. I'll be like, yeah, I'm like, that's live. That's dope. I used to see that type of stuff and be like, like, I'm good, you know? But you're really not. You're really not. You gotta peel back them layers. You still in darkness. You still numb. You still hurt. I get it. I was there. You know, you can get up out of that. You know, you strong. Don't underestimate yourself. But don't underestimate God either, because he going to be the one to really get you up out of it. Amen.
Whenever I hear women being called gold diggers, my reaction is, oh, I'm so sorry she doesn't want to be homeless. I'm so sorry she has goals for her kids and she wants to send them to private school. I'm so sorry she wants to live in a safe neighborhood free from crime. And I'm so sorry she doesn't want to have to go work for an employer for 9 hours and then come home and work for her husband and kids. I am so sorry she wants to have one job. Yeah, no. This gold digger term is just a scare tactic by broke men who don't want to put in the work to provide for you. They want you working 2 jobs, your office job and then coming home and doing your second shift at home. No, let's divvy it up evenly. You go provide, husband, and she'll provide by being at home, taking care of the kids, taking care of you. All of the things that you would pay someone else to do, she'll do. That's a job. Her being at home, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, taking care of you, that's a job in and of itself. So for all the trad people who want traditional marriage, you got to go out and provide while she does her work at home. Tired of this gold digger term for women who just want to have one job instead of 2.
Men with money never complain that women are gold diggers. It's always the brokies that complain that women are gold diggers and they're going to take advantage of me and they're going to use me. My friend, I promise you, they do not want to take advantage of you or use you. Relax.
And let me tell y'all why James chose me, because y'all always asking, why did he choose you? Why he could have got a pick-me that was cute, right? Yeah, he could have. And there was plenty of pick-me's that he could have had. And I promise you, he could have had. But guess what? You know why he wanted me? Because I made him look good. Ain't no pick-me can make James look like I can make him look, okay? Everybody thought he was a millionaire when he stepped out with me, okay? Even though he's not a millionaire, everybody thought he was. Because why would I be looking this good sitting next to him if he ain't paid? Okay, so he loved that. He loved it. People started taking him more seriously. Okay, when he would go out and about and we would go out and he would see his friends and his colleagues and, you know, they would see him with me and then they would take him, you do technology? Oh, let me get your card. I might need you to build me a website, some software, a system, a management system, Now they're taking him seriously because they see what he can pull. People start taking him more seriously, giving him business, getting meetings. So that's why A man would much rather a gold digger or someone on a higher level because they make them look more successful and they actually push them to the next level to get that type of success and more. Okay, they push you to the next level without handicapping you. You know, I didn't handicap him. I didn't hand him no money. I didn't say, baby, it's gonna be okay. I got half of this, or don't worry about it. We gonna get that big house because I'm gonna put it in half. I didn't put nothing in. Why? Because I shouldn't have to. If he wants to front like he got this money because he got me, he needs to get this money, and he knows that. And he told me, thank you for making me believe that I could accomplish certain things. Thank you for pushing me to the point where I got way more than I ever thought I could, or pushing me to the next level because I was too comfortable where I was. Now, pick me chick could not ever do that, okay? Pick me chicks can't do that type of stuff because they will handicap their man, hold him down, make him feel like a little toddler, take all the credit for everything that's done. And then at the end of the day, they wonder why that man don't want them, cheating on them, and hanging out with other people and making babies elsewhere.
A lot of people on the internet specifically don't realize how much they agree with red pill ideologies because they don't really know what red pill is. And this happens because like the face, and by the way, this is an anti-red pill video, but the faces of red pill are so like, just to say hostile. It's very similar to the president of the United States, right? And it's like, there are people, especially particularly on the internet, being like, oh, this is so abhorrent. Like, how could he say these things? How could he have these views? Da, 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 da. It's like, he didn't win 2 elections by having nobody agree with him. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people, particularly black people in this specific context, where if you talk to them about their political beliefs for like 30 minutes, like they would be very clearly on that side of things. I see that happen like generally, like now we're back to all people, when it comes to the red pill thing. And it's funny because I get called red pill when I say something that like people don't agree with. Let's think about some of those actual red pill talking points, okay? Men should be leaders. Men are providers. Men are supposed to be this solid emotional rock while the woman's just kind of doing whatever. Like obviously these people I'm referring to, they don't agree with every red pill thing, but like a lot of like those kinds of points they would agree with. The only thing they don't agree with is like the mascots of red pill using terms like, you know, female, like the B word, stuff like that. The same way there's a lot of people who would probably agree with a lot of the things that the current president stood for if he didn't say things the way that he said them. And again, this is an anti all that kind of video. But my point is kind of multiple fold. For one, it's like if you're gonna hate on something because the way it's delivered, I feel like that's a bit weak. If you're gonna hate on, like, I don't like red pill because I don't like the content. Like, I don't like these, like the points I said that they're making, I don't like those points. I don't agree. I mean, like, I'm not just gonna say, oh, well, they're acting like this and then move on. Another point is, it's like, if you don't like these people, I feel like you should analyze, like, wait, do we share any beliefs? Wait, why do we share these beliefs? It's like these people in red pill, they have like the same, they come to the same conclusion. That they just have in their minds different rationales. Sometimes even, not sometimes they have the same rationale. Like pretty much like, I'm gonna say 60 to 70% of red pill is like just traditional dating roles. So anybody getting on here and like advocating for these traditional roles, they're practically red pill themselves. They talk about red pill like it's the enemy when in reality, they're on the team. Anyways, yeah, I thought about this. The reason I thought about this is because on my main account, I got accused of being red pill because that whole I didn't want to pay for the Uber video. I'm like, bro, if you know anything about these red pillars, the red pillars would probably tell me to pay for the Uber. It's like, yeah, like overarching point is like people just throw around these terms not knowing what they mean. And it's so like with this specifically, it's so ridiculous because it's like they actually like it's one thing like, you know, calling someone like an incel, calling someone, I'm not going to say misogynist because like this happens with misogyny too. It's like if you call someone an incel and the term doesn't really apply, it's like, yeah, you're being annoying, but it's not really like that big of a deal. But it's like you're calling something red pill when actively what you're pushing as red pill is insane. So it's like, why don't we just use the words that we want to use? Really what you're trying, like, it's like there's certain things that just get turned into an insult, you know, and it's so weird because it's like red pill is an actual ideology. It's like now, like people are just using it as like some sort of like synonym for lame. And it's like, bro, that's not how it works. Okay, I said something in the middle of this video that I kind of want to clear up about. Like I said, you should analyze like why you share those views with those people or ask yourself, do you share views with those people? I'm not saying you're responsible for you sharing views with a certain group of people, but what I'm saying is you should definitely find out why, you know? Like the reason I thought that was important to bring up is because people try to like throw that in my face all the time. They're like, oh, well, you have incels who agree with some of the things you say. And it's like, yeah, like that's like, you understand like the concept of a broken clock being right 2 times a day. You know what I mean? Like if I see a video of a woman doing something horrible and I'm like, hey, like that was a horrible thing to do. Obviously people who are like misogynists, people who hate women are probably going to agree. But that doesn't take away from the point and the fact that my point's being made and more through the lens of, I don't want to say empathy, but like something similar to that. But my thing is, and that's why I said the thing about having the same rationale, it's like sometimes these people in red pill, they come to the same point with the same rationale. Like, again, like if some misogynist in my comments being like, oh, all women are like da 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 da, I don't agree with that, right? And I can sense that difference there. But sometimes, like, they're literally like red pill and like these like online dating people, like these like traditional dating people, they say, oh, men should do this, women should do this because men aren't meant to do this and women aren't meant to do that. And like they agree. You know what I'm saying? But it's like for some reason, like you think when that person says it, they're a misogynist, but when you say it, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like the difference of that is like their logic is exactly the same. Like the entire base of like where they're forming their opinion is the same rather than just coming to the same conclusion.
Who is truly loyal in a marriage when it matters, men or women? I was having a conversation with these two women in the comments, and they started saying that women, when somebody gets sick in a marriage, man gets sick, woman gets sick, women are twice as likely to stay as men. I was like, I don't know about that. I got to look the studies up and I'll come back. I went and looked the studies up. They were wrong. Okay. When somebody gets sick with cancer or MS, women are not twice as likely to stay as the men are. Women are 7 times more likely to stay. Legit crap. I just looked this stuff up. Did not believe it. Could not believe my eyes. I mean, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? So when a woman gets sick or with cancer or MS, men end up divorcing 21% of the time. When a man gets sick, they only divorce 3% of the time. 7 times more likely for the women to stay with the men than for the men to stay with the women. I thought it was in sickness and health. How the hell do you feel like a man when you're leaving a woman who gets sick in your freaking relationship, man? That crap annoys the ever-living hell out of me. Those women were completely right. They were just wrong about the statistics and how big the gap actually was when they said twice the amount. Okay, it's 7 times more likely, and that absolutely breaks my heart, man. I could not imagine leaving somebody that I loved because they got sick. That makes absolutely no sense. That is some dirtbag crap. Y'all want to complain about them being gold diggers, man, but when it comes down to brass tacks, when it comes down to shit hitting the fan, there's the ones that stay more often than not. If you look at statistics in general, man, that's crazy to me and sad.
The rise of incel and the whole incel movement on this app is really concerning, considering the fact that people are watching this stuff and posting about it. Because I'll see people on this app post so much self-victimizing things, and it's always the men. It's never the women, or unless it is, I'm not on that For You page really, but it's just, it gets to a point where you're looking at it and it makes you cringe. And the people who post and repost and like and comment on this kind of content is really the ones who I'm worried about. And the thing is, guys like that are guys who watch porn all day, have patchy beards, don't go to the gym, don't exercise, and have social issues. And they think they're entitled to like some model, or they think models should go up to them. And if they don't, then women aren't good enough. And when they get rejected, they use that whole nice guys finish last and women don't like me because I'm a nice guy. When in all actuality, they're lame. They have social issues. Nobody probably likes them. They stink. They have no sense of social cues whatsoever. And they just use that whole nice guy excuse just to belittle all that. And then they claim to just swear that all women like bad guys and criminals and whatnot. And that's just not the case. You're just a guy who has no personality. You don't live your life because you just stay inside all day.
Why men secretly love entitled gold diggers. Number 1 is return on investment. Now, whenever a man has invested time, money, and resources into a woman, he is more motivated to see a return on his investment. He's more likely to fight for the relationship because he doesn't want to see all of his resources go to waste. So, whereas when he's invested very little into a woman, he finds it very easy to walk away because there's no costs incurred. Submission. Now, when a man is contributing to a woman's life, she can see the value he's adding to her, and therefore she's more likely to be submissive and respected. Because men love feeling respected and having someone submit to them, he will attach to her a lot quicker and faster. Whereas when a woman is not entitled, she receives nothing from a man, and therefore he adds no value to her life. And because women are designed to be looked after, they slowly start to resent their partner, and this resentment shows up in disrespect.
Men would prefer a gold digger. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure that most men would love a gold digger. It's just that most men can't afford a gold digger, right? Because gold diggers are simple human beings. Like, that is a type of woman that a man can understand. A lot of men are simple creatures, right? And you hear a lot of men say this all the time, like, I'm a simple guy. I have basic needs, right? And the emotional complexities of the average woman who desires more than patriarchal provision in a relationship is too complex for the average man, right? Women who have complex needs, like emotional compatibility, mutual nurturing and caring, and need like vulnerability from a man, that is too complex for the average man. The average man, unfortunately, is not emotionally intelligent enough to provide any of those things. But a gold digger, right? Someone who is only there for patriarchal provision, money, whatever you want to call it, that is the type of woman that a man can understand. He knows that if he has money, he can get her, period. And this is why so many men really actually leave their wives when they get rich or whatever you want to call it, because they know that they never really had what it took to take care of that first wife in the first place, because she was not there for just money. Last night I went to the club, right? And I met this guy. I don't know if he was a drug dealer or like a baller or whatever. I don't know what he did, but he had a lot of money, right? Like that was apparent. He had a lot of money. He took out a bankroll. He was flexing it. He had me follow him on Instagram. It's money all over his Instagram, blah, 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 blah. I told him, I'm in Atlanta, so take what you will from that. But I told him that I'm only here for the weekend. His response to that was, what can I provide you to have you stay here for 2 more weeks? How about I push you in an apartment and I put the apartment in your name, but I'll pay all the bills, I'll pay all of this, da 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 da. You know, we could be like in a trial relationship and I'll just give you everything that you need so that you're taken care of, but you could stay with me, right? And I was like, no. I was like, no, that's crazy. Like, I don't know you from a can of paint. Like, are you crazy? I was like, why would I jump into a relationship with you and like get an apartment and like, is that, nigga, that sounds insane. Like, that's some shit that an insane person would do. And he was like baffled. Like, he was like confused. I'm like, I just want to get to know you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to get to know you, right? I'm like, I don't stay here. I stay in North Carolina. He's like, he thinks I'm lying, like, about staying in North Carolina, because he's like, that's what most women would want. He's like, so the fact that that's not what you want makes me feel like you're lying to me. I'm like, why would I lie to you? Like, if I didn't want to talk to you, you would be the fuck out my face. Like, I'm not, for one, I'm not afraid of confrontation with men I don't like. And for two, like, why, like, I don't have to jump through this many hoops to tell a man that I don't like them. You know what I mean? What I'm saying? And that did not work with him. So his second route was, well, like, if that works out, then like we could get married. Like we can get married. We could talk about commitment and forever. Da, da, da. And I was like, that's too fast. Like, I'm like, that's incredibly too fast. I don't want to get married. I'm not trying to like jump in a relationship with you. I don't know you. I just want to get to know you to see if our values align. Like, if your personality is a good match for me. And that like threw him for a loop. Like, he was confused. Like, what I was saying was like too complex for him. He was attracted to me. He wanted me, whatever ways, right? Whether that be like to own me, to have claim over my body, or to like be with me in whatever that way that means to him. He was like, I've offered you the two things that I would think that most people would want. Patriarchal provision, right? I'm going to pay for your apartment, your crib, whatever. And I'm telling you that I will be with you seriously. Like, I will be seriously with you. How is that not enough to access you sexually or romantically or whatever? And I'm like, it's just not, because I don't know you. So for most men, right? If they have it like that, a gold digger is going to be a lot easier to deal with than an emotionally intelligent woman who is looking for more than just money. And this is why I feel like so many women end up in stupid fucking situations, because y'all are just as big as weirdos and simple creatures as these men, because the only thing that you were impressed by either the financial provision or you were impressed by the commitment, which neither is enough for a foundation of a strong relationship. So yeah, I think most men would prefer a gold digger, because a gold digger could match the simple basic mindedness
of the average man.
You see a man using the word hypergamy on the internet, you know he's already been indoctrinated into the manosphere, specifically because you don't seem to know what this word actually means, and you've commented on a video about female natural selection, and we know that hypergamy appears most dominantly in patriarchal societies. Hypergamy refers to the idea of marrying up, that is, seeking a partner who has higher socioeconomic status, higher intellect, general higher desirability. And from a sociological perspective, females in patriarchal societies are more encouraged to marry up than in egalitarian societies. So if you don't want women to participate in hypergamy, then what you want is to live in an egalitarian society, meaning you're a feminist. Because historically speaking, hypergamy is shaped by limited access to income, resources, housing, all the things which patriarchy takes away from women. So my dear sweet troglodyte, if you don't want women to participate in hypergamy, you're gonna want to be a feminist.
I lost the guy that I loved and cared about to red pill content. Before he started watching this content, he was a sweet, nice man who treated me well and was charismatic, funny. And the moment he started watching this content, he completely changed. He started calling women bitches, whores, skanks. He became very, very angry almost all the time. And then eventually he ended things with me because he thought I was using him for money. Now granted, there was one time where I did make a joke about how I wanted an old guy to take care of me, and I quickly regretted it and said I was sorry. But I still cared about him. I would drive 30 minutes every day to see him. Like, it wasn't just about the money. Because he's watching all this content, he thinks that all these women are trying to use him and all that stuff. And so he had a loving girl that cared about him and loved him and like would stick by his side through anything. And then he eventually said this to me, and this was the final straw. Now, when I first started talking to him, not that it mattered, but he was over 270 pounds when I started talking to him. I did not care about his size. He then lost weight and then started fat shaming everyone around him. And today, actually, he said this to me. He called me a broke skank and then said that I would ease back on the food. Your stomach's getting a little big. And I've never, my whole life, had a man speak to me like that. And here I was the week before going out, and I was gonna go buy him a present for his birthday. And for him to turn around and call the girl that cared about him and loved him a skank and fat, when he's like one of the only guys that I've been with. In the beginning, it was totally opposite. He would compliment me, tell me how pretty I was, and laugh and make jokes, and like, just this content, it just ruined him. And then I went on his page before we unfollowed each other, and I saw he was reposting like Andrew Tate and like David Goggins, and like almost all of his reposts were that. And then that's how I found out that he was in this red pill rabbit hole, and now I connected the dots.
Ever dated a man who during the course of their relationship started consuming content that promoted resentment towards women? Kind that paints us as manipulative or transactional, and before you know it, he starts quoting podcasts that devalue emotional connection and acts like vulnerability is a weakness. You're watching him become cold and more rigid, as if masculinity means cutting off your humanity. Has anybody else ever experienced this, or is it just me?
If he says any of these things, he is a red pillar. What do you bring to the table? 50-50. Princess privilege. Be my peace. Traditional woman. I'm a provider and a leader. What's your body count? Are you promiscuous? Are you marriage minded? I don't want an independent woman. I want a nurturing woman. And I don't want my woman to be outside. If I missed anything, add it in the comments. Be careful.
A creator asked what it was like for the women who their men fell to red pill content and then y'all left them. That was me. I was with somebody from the time he was 22 to the time that he was 32. When I met this individual, we were in California, and he got an apartment 7 minutes away from me. And then I used to just go stay at his house all the time while he was gone because he was a truck driver. He would come home, pay for everything, all of the bills, make sure I had whatever I needed. And then he would get in his truck, have me drop him off at his truck, leave me his car, and then he would leave. And then he would come home and do it every 2 months. He would come home and do the shit all over again. The best relationship I've ever had. Because you leave me alone. And then you come home and get fulfillment. And then you get the fuck back on the road to leave me alone again. So then things changed because he decided he wanted to be home every day. So he got a job working with a local company and stopped making what he was making. And I was like, okay. Then he bought me a car and he sold his shit and he decided we was going to move to Texas. And I was like, okay. So we did. So we pack up my car full of all of our stuff and then we dipped to Texas. 20-something hour drive, 22 hours or something like that. And it was fun. We get here, I got us an apartment and then everything was cool. We got a dog, we got another dog. Then he's like, fuck this place, it's too expensive, let's buy a house. So we did. Okay. Then everything starts to flip. We get into this house and a year later he starts acting weird. And I was like, what the fuck's going on with him? Like, why you acting funny? This man start consuming red pill content heavily. He start watching Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan and all these other little white people. And I looked at him and I said, you think you're a white man? I said, I know you come from Europe, but you think that you're a white man, like a white man. And he was just like, what you mean by that? He was mad as fuck, right? And I was all, you with a black girl. You always with black women. I was all, what the fuck are you watching this shit for? He had no answers. Then I start asking more questions and paying attention to how he fucking moved. He didn't have no respect for me like that. I was a possession. I was a commodity. As long as you or buy me whatever fucking pretty little things that you think he bought me this motherfucking, long as you keep me with MacBooks and shit. Like, actually this was free from his cousin. But like, as long as you give me whatever I want, you're fucking cool. So you have no problems. Then it started to get worse, okay? Then came the cameras. I found one in our apartment and I forgot about it and didn't think too heavily, right? Then all of a sudden, I found another camera when we moved into our house and it was in my fucking master closet. A small black camera, a little cube. And every time I found a cube, I put it in a shoebox in my bedroom. Then he started asking me like what I had done all day long. So if there's no camera, you can't physically see what I'm doing. You don't think I'm doing anything. I don't give a fuck what you think. Are you walking the dogs? Did you go to the store? Could you do this? Could you do that? Could you leave me the fuck alone? I have my own life. Did I say that? No, I just did everything that he asked and slowly started shutting myself down. I was taking money from him and keeping it to myself because I spent 10 years in this relationship. I deserve to be taken care of. I am not a normal individual like everyone wants to pretend you can't get out. Yes, you can. I start moving different. My underwear start coming up missing and shit. And then when he brought me a pair and asked me questions, I was like, why do you have this? Because he was wearing them in my house. Not just that, he started to physically change. How does a person who is 6.5 years younger than you look older than you? And it isn't just genetics. He was doing too much pre-workout. You were going to the gym heavily. You are losing your fucking hair. Your testosterone is low. You are poisoning your fucking body. You are trying to make me do that as well. Like, it was abusive. And I was not loved. I was not loved. Because this person saw me as nothing more than a way to get things done. I was a way for his comfort, not for my own. I did not matter. And then when his mother asked me if we were going to have children and why we were not married, I said, go talk to your son. Don't ask me questions. At that point, that was year 10. I packed my shit up and I came home. And I left him right there with all that responsibility. There wasn't really violence except for one instance where he choked my dog. And I told him put my dog down. And then that's when he realized, like, oh my God. And that was like the end for me. I shut off completely. I am able to move because I have a cradle that protects me and it keeps me moving forward at any given cost. You're not going to block my path. I won't allow it. But yep, red pill content killed my relationship because it turned somebody who was compassionate, caring, and a provider into somebody who was cold, ruthless, calculated, insecure, and weird. Even when I left the house, he was trying to consume my energy. He's in my beauty room making videos on YouTube. He has a setup similar to what I had, and his girlfriend was trying to wear my clothing that I left in my house, and I wouldn't have it. I told him to throw it all away. So be aware. Men like this are seeking you. I want to say 80% of the men that approach me online to date socially are men who consume red pill content. You are a conservative man. Leave me alone. I swing blue, if anything. But I care about me most, first and foremost. So now y'all know my story. Don't be asking me why I left my last relationship. Because it wasn't a relationship in the end. I was not appreciated or loved.
Family lawyers are now seeing a wave of divorces caused by red pill content. Let's talk about it. According to a CBC report, men are bringing red pill ideas into their marriages by demanding obedience and treating their wives like subordinates. A Canadian family lawyer says he's seeing a trend of men getting sucked into misogynistic ideals and the marriage starts to unravel. One woman said her husband became controlling after binging this bullshit. She said it was like he forgot I was his wife and started treating me like a servant. Red pill is not just content. Studies have shown that men who consume red pill media show lower levels of emotional intelligence, higher levels of loneliness, and a hostility towards women. So not only is red pill content keeping men single, it's ruining relationships. Some of these men lose custody, fall into depression, and double down on the manosphere. Just remember, the red pill is poison, no matter when you take it.
Goes with that right